the inside story on the issues that affect you and your community. This is Local 12 Newsmakers.
Good morning and welcome to Local 12 Newsmakers. I'm Dan Hurley. By their very definition and character, cities are constantly in flux, changing to meet specific needs and attempting to accommodate large, shifting social forces. Inevitably, change in tight urban spaces brings disagreement. That principle is on display right now over the proposed relocation of the City Gospel Mission. The mission was founded in 1924 by James Gamble to serve homeless and hurting men and women through providing meal, shelter, recovery programs, and chapel services. The mission started out on Vine Street, but since 1943 has been located at 1419 Elm Street in Over the Rhine. In the past several decades, aggressive leadership has developed an array of programs for men and women and children, putting a strain on the facilities. The mission is now prepared to renovate and move to a larger facility, an empty building on Dalton Street in Queensgate, just north of the main post office. That proposal, however, has brought opposition from a number of business owners in the area who contend that the mission is an inappropriate use in the industrial area. I am joined this morning by Sherman Bradley, the Vice President of the City Gospel Mission. A native of Cincinnati, Sherman is an ordained minister. He is the founder and director of Consider the Poor and City Gospel Development Company. He is a certified trainer for Bridges Out of Poverty and program conducts framework for understanding poverty workshops. I was hoping to also be joined by a representative of the business group that has raised objections to the move. In the end, they declined to appear on the program, but have provided a statement that I will work into our conversation this morning. Sherman, welcome back to Newsmakers.
Thank you for having me, Dan.
Let's just start with a discussion. What is it that City Gospel Mission does? What do you, I sort of tried to get the overall mission statement, but what is it you actually do?
Well, our desire is to break the cycle of poverty and despair one life at a time. And we do that by considering ourselves a holistic approach to restoration and recovery of lives. We start off by providing a homeless shelter that allows for transient and homeless individuals to have a bed, but we also provide a meal. We want to meet the hunger needs of folk who are coming through our facility and folk from the community. So we only have 46 beds inside the shelter, and 18 of those are dedicated to our recovery program, but we seat 102 in our diner where we feed twice a day, 365 days a year, with the help of various organizations and churches around the tri-state that assist us not just serving the meals, but bringing food in to assist us with our food budget as well. Then we have what we call the Exodus program. It is a 12-month inpatient, intensive restoration and recovery process for substance abusers, a holistic approach, again, where we're looking to rebuild individuals' entire lives, not just keep them abstinent from mind-altering controlled substances. But then we also have a special needs program and a work program. The special needs program are for individuals who have or need access to VA benefits, Social Security benefits, or mental health benefits that will assist them as well with no longer being transient or homeless, and we work them in those systems. We assist them so that they can get to a place of stability as well. And then the work program is just that. Individuals come through our doors who legitimately have a job, not a temp service or a pay here by the day type of employment, but have a job and have fallen upon hard times and have either been transient, housing-wise, or just fell upon hard times financially and couldn't maintain their housing. And they'll come and stay with us temporarily. And these three different pools of individuals are in need of greater services than what we can actually provide in the old facility that we're currently in right now. We cannot provide a day shelter, which is what we ultimately want to do, so that individuals do not have to leave each morning and stay out all day trying to fend for themselves, sometimes having a place to go, oftentimes not. But we want to be able to provide additional case managers in that time frame in our day shelter that will allow us to be a little more intentional with connecting those that are homeless that aren't directly coming into our current programs and find themselves struggling to really transition in life.
So some of the people at City Gospel Mission are there for a long-term period. In the Exodus program, they could be living there for a year?
Correct.
Okay, they'd be on site. Other people, it's more of an emergency shelter, and they could be there a day, a week, whatever.
Correct. We have, over the last several years, worked much more intensively with individuals and transitioning them into one of the 3 programs that I mentioned.
Right.
Previously, you could stay for 3 or 4 months and we really wouldn't challenge you. We'd put you in the system, we'd know who you are, but we weren't challenging you toward life change.
Okay.
The last couple of years, we've been very specific, very intentional, and individuals may get 3 weeks max just coming in and getting a bed and eating and pretty much doing nothing, other than the fact that they'll have a case manager and they'll be in the system.
Right.
But we've really been intentional, and we've found folk want service, want assistance, and those that don't will depart, and they'll find other places for housing.
Okay. So is the situation that you find yourself in as these programs have grown, is it that you just need more space? Is this an internal, and here's the edge on this one, is this an internal need of City Gospel Mission, and to what extent there is a sort of city policy focus through 3CDC of decreasing the number of social service agencies located in Over the Rhine? Are you being pushed out of Over the Rhine? Is this something you want to do? Does the mission want to make this move?
The mission needs to make this move. We've outgrown this facility. Okay. Like you mentioned, our addition onto this 1943 building is 1967. We have to turn folk away daily for housing. We're turning folk away for meals. We know where our economy is and how the numbers are continuing to grow, not decrease. That poses a major problem for our city. We've been connected to the continuum of care and the homeless to homeless plan for the last 3 years. So this is a citywide process that happened before 3CDC and City Gospel Mission came together and looked at how could we make this happen beyond what's on paper that we've been working toward. This city did not take care as readily as what we deemed, let's just say, when you look at the youth and you look at women, there weren't significant shelter options for them that were homeless in transit. And even our men's programming, we've been working so that we can provide not a lot more beds, but better facilities to do better programming, case management, and move folk toward transitioning out of these conditions rather than warehousing them.
Okay. And that's part of that whole homeless to homes effort initiative, which is online, by the way, and we've done shows on this, and
Correct.
people really should look at that. It's a very
Agreed.
important proposal.
Agreed.
Okay. Let's take a look at a map and just see where you're moving, where you are now, so people can get this in their mind. I mean, we showed the video, but the map will show us that, okay, you're on Elm Street, here we go, and if you look at sort of the cluster of dots in the center, you're sort of that upper left in the box, okay, and then if you look all the way over on the left side of the map, the red dot over by the expressway in Queensgate. So as the crow flies, this is not that far, but it's a very different place.
It's a very different place, and no, it's not that far. And one of the myths is that the people who come to our facility only come from over the Rhine. That's not the case. Especially over the last 5 years, as we've seen the redevelopment and gentrification taking place, folk are coming from Price Hill, from Quarryville, Walnut Hills, Clifton Heights, as well as over the Rhine and the West End. And some are coming further out. They're busing, they're walking, sometimes they're coming on bikes into our facility for services or for a meal or for housing.
Okay, so this isn't inconvenient, you're saying,
Absolutely
for
not.
people?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Now let's take a look at sort of there's a sort of an aerial shot of the new site that gives us some sense of how this is an existing building. Here we go. And it's colored in pink here. This is an existing building that's
Correct.
been there for some time.
Correct.
And it has been empty, correct?
Correct.
So you're not pushing somebody out.
No, the Tran business moved several years ago. They're out on Springdale Road.
Okay.
Evendale.
So this is a building that's there. How much more space would this give you?
Well, this facility will give us, we'll go to 76 beds specifically for recovery. Specifically for the homeless and the transient. We will have a bigger kitchen and diner.
We've
to
got a
really
floor plan we can
serve,
put up as we talk about this. Okay.
to really meet the needs of those that are struggling to provide meals for themselves, as well as those who are housed in our facility. By going to a day shelter, we will feed 3 times a day rather than just twice a day. But in this day shelter, we will have specific programming and room and space for folk to, in a communal kind of atmosphere, as well as classroom and structured atmosphere, have a place to really get connected to people who want to be available to them to meet whatever those felt needs are.
Here's a floor plan that you can kind of see that some of what you've been describing.
Correct.
And a bit more space, not as many people in rooms. There's a bit more privacy for people in your current space. It is very cramped. I've been in there.
Yes,
very
it is.
cramped, not much room for people to move around. So a little bit more privacy.
And it's very industrial, our current facility. This one will be homelier. This one will have living spaces.
I think it's homier.
Homier.
Not homelier.
Thank you for that correction. We want them to feel like they're at home, not in prison. And the rooms will have 6 and 8 beds, and a couple will have 10 beds versus the 12 beds that are bunk beds. And you've been in it. It's just not warm. It's not inviting. No. It doesn't say you're really valued.
Right. Okay, so you want to move to Queensgate. Queensgate is an industrial area. It's zoned industrial. And this is sort of the issue that the businesses there, who I've been talking to a number of people from those businesses, and their point is, it's not that they don't support the mission of the City Gospel Mission. They support what you're doing. They just feel this is the wrong place. And let me read, they sent me a letter. They drafted me a letter and sent it to me last night. Let me read a couple of paragraphs, and I've got some of this up on the screen so people can see it. First and foremost, the Queensgate Business District is zoned General Manufacturing District, and that means it's an industrial area and not pedestrian friendly. In fact, Dalton Avenue, a busy 4-lane road, averages daily traffic count of 13,000 vehicles, many of which are trucks. In addition, the proposed location for the agencies has 25-foot wide perpetual truck easement bisecting the site, meaning that this is a dangerous place for people to be. This is the manufacturing, industrial, warehouse area, and pedestrians aren't meant to be there. What do you say to that?
Well, when you look at Dalton Street, well, first of all, when you're talking about the population that we're dealing with, they're very resilient and very resourceful, and they're used to being on the bus and walking. And despite where they are socioeconomically, they know how to navigate roads and crosswalks and lights. We do not see that this is going to be a problem. The issue has really been what's going to happen beyond the traffic. What's going to happen with the individuals referencing the businesses, and whether or not this is going to actually affect them economically or not. That's been the major issue. Traffic is a nice way to put out there that there's concern for the individuals.
Let me get to a second paragraph, but that's the paragraph they put first, and I have to say that on the phone they bring that up all the time.
Okay, so that up to us directly.
Let's take a look at a second part of this letter, and it says, and for Queensgate's mostly small and medium-sized business owners that have been committed to the economic development of this area for decades, the relocation of social services raises concerns about liability and viability. Queensgate businesses have been able to thrive and grow as industrial entities in a manufacturing business district. That is why many of the businesses located here initially, creating a campus of residential entities and social service agencies here, could affect our ability to attract new businesses as well as threaten the creation of new jobs and decrease future tax base, which they want to point out that in 2006, the last year reporting, there was $8.8 million of earning taxes coming out of Queensgate, so for the city. So what do you say to that? That this undermines the essential character of this industrial area and undermines future economic viability and future economic development?
Well, I think the future of economic viability and development has a lot to do with our economy and what the city is willing to do to support efforts that have really only gained momentum quite recently as compared to what's been happening in the downtown area of Over the Rhine and downtown proper. I'm believing, first of all, that there's just one that I know of that's moving in, and that's us. One of the buildings that we're occupying right next to Tran building that you didn't show was occupied by Beach Acres Parenting Center. Mm-hmm. So social services have been there before. We know Job Corps is just down the street. So they've functioned and they've still thrived. The numbers you just spoke of speak to that. I don't believe that one facility, especially a facility like ours, that has everything that individuals need inside of it, that will not allow for loitering or vandalism, and we don't have that issue now, isn't going to produce the major influx of some said crime, some said vandalism, and then the economic issues. I just don't believe that it's going to cause that for the businesses surrounding us, especially since many of them, if not all of them, are pretty much dealing from business to business and not having any major traffic for customers coming on their doorsteps.
Yeah, they're not retail businesses as such. They're B2Bs. One final thing on this, though. I think there's a certain fear that now you've pointed out there are other agencies already there. Beach Acres was there. Correct. Job Corps. But I think there's a certain fear that you're the entering wedge, that then the city's going to start moving a whole bunch of social services over to Queensgate.
You know, I can't speak to that. That is probably a valid concern. However, I know for us, we have to go in as an individual, and the city is going to make their assessment and vote yay or nay based upon this one facility, not a change of zoning as a whole for the entire community, which is what has often been presented to us will happen if we come in. And from what we're told, that's not the case. And if a second winds up coming there, it will be because one-on-one, they went to council and council decided that this was an option, but it's not changing the zoning that just opens up the door for everybody.
Okay. And this hearing will be this coming Friday in City Council, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. We will be watching for this. Sherman, thank you for being here
this morning.
Thank you for having
me, Dan.
And we definitely will pay attention to this. Stay tuned after the break. An effort to use Father's Day to strengthen the role of fathers in local families. Welcome back. Next Sunday is Father's Day, an opportunity for individual families to gather to celebrate the role that their fathers play in the lives of their children. It is also a good time to reflect on the state of fatherhood and families in our society. According to the United States Census, in 2007, approximately 13.7 million single-parent head of families in the United States. These parents care for 21.8 million children, 26% of all of America's children. 84% of those single custodial parents are women. Although many single-parent households raise strong and healthy children, statistics also show that children who grow up without a father in the household are at dramatically higher risk of drug and alcohol abuse, emotional distress, teen pregnancy, and criminal behavior. That's why Talbert House has undertaken an initiative back in 2009, the Fatherhood Celebration. This year it takes place appropriately next Sunday on Father's Day, June the 19th at Sawyer Point on the Cincinnati riverfront. To talk about the Fatherhood Celebration, I am joined this morning by Harold Howard, the program manager for the Fatherhood Celebration at Talbert House, and John Silverman, a former chair of the Board of Trustees at Talbert House and the managing partner of Midland Atlantic, a real estate brokerage and developer. Welcome to Newsmakers to both of you.
Thanks for having us.
From Talbert House point of view, from a staff point of view, what is it that you're going to try to accomplish with this, and what's the most important part of this for you?
Well, the most important part is just to celebrate fathers, the essence of Father's Day. It's real important to us in this work to make sure that fathers are honored and recognized, and what an incredible day, June 19th will be, as we'll be able to celebrate Father's Day, and fathers can celebrate that special day with their children and families.
What are some of the things that are going to happen down on the riverfront, John?
We've got a great day planned. It starts at 11 o'clock and runs till 4 o'clock. We have 4 bands. We have the Bengal cheerleaders are going to be there to put on a kickball event for us all day.
Is that to get fathers there? No, shame on me.
Go ahead. That's to get male volunteers there.
That's right.
Good way of looking at it.
We have 2 mini basketball courts that we have set up, and we've got basketball players from the UC basketball team and from the Shining
really?
Stars
Great.
AAU basketball team are going to be there to play basketball with the kids. We have a couple of former Reds players that will be there to greet the kids and sign autographs. We have arts and crafts. We have magicians. We have face painters, and we have a lot of food and a lot of drinks, and it's all free. So bring your kids down and enjoy a free day with dads.
Now, this will be your 3rd year. Is that right? Am I correct?
This is the first year that we'll have this event. This is the 3rd year for our luncheon that John will talk more about here in a second. But the luncheon is more an opportunity to recognize fathers in the community from our program, and also 2 prominent fathers that are doing good jobs in our community.
So for this event on the riverfront, this is the 1st year.
Correct.
This is a new event. So this is a real opportunity to get on the ground floor.
Correct.
Oh, that's great.
What's interesting is we had the Fatherhood Lunch that celebrates the program and is a fundraiser for the event. We had that the past 2 years. Last year after the lunch, which was a great event, Harold challenged us to take our mission out into the community more and to do something to not just raise money for the organization, but let's do something to bring the cause of fatherhood out into the community more. And that was the gestation of having the Fatherhood Celebration. So this is the 1st year for the celebration, the 3rd year for the luncheon.
Okay, I got confused because when I first heard about this, I thought it was the 1st year, but then when I went to the website, I started seeing this other stuff, and so this is an extension of what you've been doing, an elaboration on the program. So who were some of the fathers that you honored this year?
Well, this year we're honoring Don Kleekamp and Ed Rigaud. And two terrific,
really,
very active community folks. And then we have a Father of the Year from the program as well, but I won't mention his name. I think it's a surprise still.
Okay.
And we have Joe Morgan is going to be at the luncheon as our keynote speaker. That's on the 17th, the Friday before Father's Day, noon at the Westin Hotel. So it's a great event, and we're very excited about it. And, but the Fatherhood Celebration is a new thing for us, and an opportunity. We serve through the Fatherhood program that Harold runs. We serve about 200 men a year, and 200 men equates to affecting 300 or 400 or 500 kids. If we can take that and we can grow that through the Fatherhood Celebration to a point where we're helping 500 men, we grow exponentially our benefit, and we really start to make changes in the community. And that's the goal that Harold has, and does a great job with it.
So this is a way not only celebrating for the people who are already in your programs, but expanding out and letting more people in the community know. So who do you hope attends?
We hope all fathers attend. Again, within the project, guys come to our program for various reasons. It can be wanting more parenting time with their children. It's, didn't have a father in their own life, and need to figure out some things on how to be a nurturing father to their children. So again, we want successful fathers. We want fathers that are trying to do a better job of parenting. We want children there. We want everybody there just to celebrate again the essence of fatherhood, because it's important that the community really honor and recognize fathers and the great jobs that they're doing in our communities.
Yeah. So a lot of PR out there about this, and hoping that, because first year events are always difficult to get started, and you got to be committed to doing them multiple times to get it out. So hopefully we can help you out.
We're planning on a lot of PR from Channel 12.
You're getting the best right now through Newsmakers. Let's give some people some details. The details on the Fatherhood Celebration. next Sunday is that it will be held at Sawyer Point on the Cincinnati riverfront from 11 to 4, as John was saying. A great way to spend a portion of your Father's Day. So thanks to both of you for being here this morning. Thanks for the work you're doing in the community with fathers and all the other work that Talbert House does. And we'll look forward to a really good Fatherhood Celebration. And thank you for making Newsmakers a part of your Sunday morning. Last week, the second segment of the program focused on getting citizen voice into the process of redistricting Ohio. I gave the wrong website. The correct website is www.drawthelinemidwest. And I didn't have Midwest in there, .org. Have a good week. Join us again next Sunday morning.